You know, when you think about the future, what comes to mind? Flying cars, right? Super intelligent AI? Well, there's this really fascinating new report that paints a totally different picture. It says the next couple of decades, they're not really about what our tech can do, but about how it makes us feel. So let's dive into this vision for the year 2040.
Right off the bat, this report just kind of throws out that whole blockbuster idea of the future, the big aha moment. It argues that the future isn't some single dramatic event. Nah, it's something way quieter, more intentional, and honestly, it's something that's already happening.
And this is a really critical point. Think about it. Every choice we're making right now, the apps we're building, the code we're writing, it's like we're laying down the bricks, the very foundation for the world we're all going to be living in come 2040.
Okay, so if it's not about one big breakthrough, then what is the main innovation pushing us into this new era? Well, the report says it all comes down to a huge shift in what we actually value in our technology.
And this is a really bold claim. I mean, for decades, the big race has been all about faster chips, right? More and more powerful AI. But this report, it's arguing that, well, that's just not the end goal anymore.
Just let that sink in for a second. Emotional alignment. The next huge leap forward isn't about tech that can think for us. It's about tech that can feel with us. Or maybe more accurately, tech that understands and actually supports human emotions. We're talking about a move away from just raw processing power to a kind of emotional partnership.
So what does a world built around this idea of emotional alignment actually look like day to day? Okay, let's get into the specifics. The report breaks it down into 5 major shifts. All right, shift number 1, and this one is huge. Our technology stops being just a bunch of tools that we use, and instead, it becomes this integrated system that's actively helping us regulate our own emotional and mental health. It's not just sitting there, it's a proactive part of our environment.
I mean, just think about the examples they give. Picture your home actively working to calm you down after a crazy stressful day. Or imagine your desk chair subtly adjusting itself to ease the tension in your shoulders. In this kind of future, a smart home isn't judged on how many gadgets it has, but on how well it genuinely supports your mental well-being. Wild, right?
Okay, the second shift is a bit of a curveball. It's kind of counterintuitive. So imagine a world that is just flooded, absolutely saturated with AI-generated music, art, you name it. You'd think human creativity would become worthless, right? Nope. The exact opposite happens. It doesn't just survive, its value goes through the roof.
Think about what that actually means for us. That tiny little imperfection in a painting, the one a human hand made, that suddenly becomes a luxury item. It's a signal of authenticity. Having a label that says human origin, that becomes this incredibly powerful statement in an ocean of flawless but soulless AI stuff.
The third shift. This one gets personal. It turns inward. We're talking about a future where we can literally, technologically, tune our own minds, our focus, our emotions, maybe even our memories. And the big challenge here isn't whether we can do it, it's whether we should. It's a question of wisdom.
I mean, this quote really nails it. The crisis isn't who am I anymore. It becomes which version of myself did I decide to be today and why. That is a huge change in how we see ourselves. The biggest struggle isn't about finding yourself, it's about having to justify the self you've chosen to create. That requires a whole new level of ethical thinking.
All right, number 4. This one's all about our relationships. So, as AI gets better and better at smoothing out all the little bumps in the road of daily life, scheduling, communicating, all that stuff, it forces us to ask a really tough question. Are our friendships and relationships just something that happens by default, or are they a choice we're actively making?
And the key takeaway here is that technology doesn't actually kill human connection. What it does is it reveals how committed we really are to it. Think about it. When it's super easy to just be alone and comfortable, the act of choosing to connect with someone, to actually work through the messy, complicated parts of a real relationship, that becomes an incredibly powerful and meaningful thing.
And that brings us to the 5th and final shift. This one completely redefines what status even means. In a world where anything can be digitally copied and abundance is the norm, the old status symbols, fancy cars, expensive watches, they just start to lose their meaning. So what takes their place? Something way more permanent. Yep, legacy becomes the new currency. Your status isn't about what you own anymore. It's about what you leave behind. It's measured by things like, what did you teach people? What systems did you help make better? What positive impact did you have on others that will last long after you're gone?
Now,
it's really important to understand that these 5 shifts, they don't automatically lead to some perfect utopia. Far from it. Instead, the report predicts they lead to this deep, quiet divide in society. It's not a war fought with guns and bombs, but a conflict over what we fundamentally believe in.
So yeah, by 2040, society doesn't have some big, violent split. It splits philosophically. And this basically creates the central tension of the time. You'll see people start to sort themselves into one of 2 camps, really, all based on how they see technology and what they think a good life actually is. So you end up with these 2 totally different ways of living. On one side, you have the automated lives. These folks are all about optimization, augmentation, making everything as convenient as possible. And on the other side, you have the intentional lives. They're focused on preserving things, staying grounded, and finding depth, maybe even protecting parts of the human experience from technology. And here is maybe the most shocking conclusion in the whole report. The most powerful people in this future, they aren't the ones with the most cybernetic enhancements or the coolest tech. Nope, they're the ones who are the most grounded. The people with true influence are the ones who've cultivated deep self-awareness and inner peace.
I know, this all might sound like something out of a sci-fi movie. But the report's final point brings it all crashing right back to the here and now. It makes this whole vision feel incredibly urgent and, well, something we can actually do something about.
So, that leaves us with a big question, right? How do we actually build this future? Because remember what we said at the very beginning? This future isn't something that's just going to happen to us. We are actively building it with every single design choice we make today.
At the end of the day, the report is basically making a plea. It's saying the future doesn't need louder ideas, it needs better ones. It's a call to move past all the hype and instead start building technology with real intention, with depth, and with a laser focus on what it means to be human.
And really, that's the perfect way to end. Because this whole thing, it's not just a prediction, it's an invitation. If this idea of a more emotionally aligned, more intentional future, if that resonates with you at all, well, the report's final message is that you're already part of it. You're already one